Hey everyone, what's up here? We're back with the mncmt versus Akola series for the semifinals of the official Smogon tournament. That's right, both these guys have made it through 9 rounds and into round 10. The semifinals, 4 players left out of well over 1,000 to start, which is a very impressive feat no matter what happens in this series. But both these guys are already in the money and hoping to get even deeper in the money and make a run to the finals of the tournament, which will happen next week in all likelihood. So, Akola is a French player who isn't super well known, but was playing for a while supposedly, and according to some of the French, very creative and insightful team builder. So definitely going to be interested to see what he brings here. And on the other side, we have Mincemeat, Brazilian player who's been doing very well recently, not only in Smog Tour, official Smog Tour, but rather also in Smog Tour, playing a couple other side tournaments. I think he even had a couple games in SBL. He won against CTC in the playoffs, if I recall. So yeah, definitely two players who have a lot of potential, but haven't quite fully shown it yet. You'd argue that Mincemeat is a bit more proven. Looking at the teams here, we're going to see Keldeo, Bisharp, Ferrothorn, Rotom Heat, Gengar, and Clefable from Mincemeat. And on the Akola side, we're going to see Gengar, Clefable, Como-O, Seismitoad, Rotom, Heat, and also on top of that, just a Jirachi to finish it off. This is Steel type. Yep. So right off the bat, we're going to see an interesting turn one. It's going to be Rotom Heat lead against Seismitoad, which presumably favors the Seismitoad, as it's going to go for a knockoff their DD boots, but it's going to eat a Toxin return from that Rotom Heat, which is helpful for the Mincemeat side as it chips this consistently for the Rotom Heat later on in the game. But on top of this, also damage for the Bisharp and the Keldeo can come in handy. And to make matters even better for the Mincemeat side, Gengar may very well be a Hex variant, in which case Hex is now able to kill the Seismitoad with that poison. Anyway, rocks go up on the second turn for the Akola side, and we're going to see a knockoff predicting the other Rotom Heat here from Mincemeat, interestingly enough. Looking at Mincemeat's team, it's a little bit vulnerable to opposing Rotom Heat. I think that's kind of why he's toxic on his own, but with taking that knockoff, it's actually really nice. So he's going to go with Clefable, perhaps trying to Wish Port into it, but Akola's going to call this and get Jirachi in correctly. The thing is that since Jirachi is not going to be Stealth Rocks, as we see, rocks are on the Seismitoad, it's very likely to be a Trick plus Twist Scarf variant, although technically Substitute variant is within normal possibilities as well. And it doesn't need Substitute. I'd say Substitute plus Power Punch is more likely. Oh, it's going to be Fire Punch with Substitute, and it's going to land a critical hit Fire Punch. It's going to take Rocky Helmet and Barb's damage, though, so it's all the way down to 59%, but the Ferrothorn's at 20%, so that's a big amount of damage, especially considering that Rotom Heat is not only at 84%, but also going to take rocks damage repeatedly due to the heavy-duty boots being knocked off. So a nice start here for Akola. However, it's going to be costly to get any more damage on this Ferrothorn with the Jirachi, especially if he switches out to something else. He's going to go Gengar here. Bit risky. It's going to take the Fire Punch for 43%. It's going to get disabled, however. So that is a cool move there if he wants to go back to Ferrothorn for whatever reason. But I don't think so. I think Akola is actually going to be forced out to something like the Como-O here, perhaps. But this is a Wisp plus Hex variant, so I'm not really sure if Como-O is going to be able to handle this Gengar. As we've seen, it is indeed Black Sludge. So that's helpful for the mncmt side to get this in safely and not get burnt. 43% is a lot of chip, but it is recovering from Black Sludge. However, there is no defogger on the mncmt side. In fact, neither side has defog, so if the Ferrothorn would happen to have spikes and come in again against that Seismitoad, maybe you could lay up another layer of spikes if it happened to not be Earth Power Earthquake, which I don't know if that's too likely given this team composition. I think it probably is. He's going to go for the substitute here as the Rotom Heat comes on out for Akola. This is a smart play there. We're going to see a Sludge Bomb, which actually is going to fail the Tokyo as Discharge comes in and easily breaks the substitute, of course. And it's also going to be able to kill the Gengar from here. The Rotom being only taking 33% shows that it's actually a special defensive variant, which does make some sense as you don't need to outrun Togekiss when you have something quicker like Jirachi or even Gengar, although Gengar can't switch into Togekiss. But yeah, makes a lot of sense. So it looks like Akola has a pretty nice position at this point in time. I'd have to imagine he's just going to go for another attack here. Discharge would be my best spot. Now Clefable is going to come on in here on another Discharge. Paralysis would be really nice for Akola. Unfortunately, he's not going to land it there, but he can use this opportunity to potentially get a Pain Split off or just set up. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Really depends on the set. Discharge means it's probably not Volt Switch, so I'm thinking it's a Nasty Plot variant, not a Pivot variant, which is much more common in general anyway. But yeah, it really is going to depend on this turn will dictate. He's actually going to go Gengar on the rocks. Okay, wait, so it's rocks. Oh, it's not Rock Sparrow, it's Rock's Clefable. So yeah, definitely Spike Sparrow. We're going to see a nasty play here on a Thunder Wave, not fearful of the substitute whatsoever. So that's a really good play there for the MNCMT side. However, Gengar is still looking like quite the threat as it gets a kill off on the Ferrothorn. And now the opposing Gengar comes in, and that's also a threat. I'd imagine that Hex would kill from 90. I'd hope so. Otherwise, it's paralyzed anyway, so I take it back. Como O comes in here. I assume it's an offensive variant. They come in on a substitute. So it's probably going to take a whisk here. Actually, MNCMT knew that it wasn't a substitute variant of Gengar, as once it came in on the Stealth Rock. Actually, it came in on. No, it didn't take Stealth Rock damage. He had no way of knowing. Well, Rotom, he's going to come in here on the Will-O-Wisp. I'm not sure if I understand that. I think I would have definitely tried to break the substitute with the Como, but I digress. He's letting go of the Rotom, but I just wonder what the follow-up is. For example, to go through the things, the Seismitoad, of course, dies to 2 hexes, so it can't 1v1 it. And it could have came in on that Wisp and still lived the hex, so I don't know if following up Rotom was worth it for that. The Jirachi is weak. Yeah, I feel like he should have just went Seismitoad, predicting the Wisp at that point. Um, but I guess he didn't want to risk that, which is fair. Risk him calling it. I don't know, but he's going to cost him the Rotom in return. But now he can go out to Como and let it take a burn anyway, I guess. So I don't know. I feel as if this sequence wasn't handled optimally from Akola. He lost a lot of footing to the point where now Keldeo and Bisharp look quite threatening, assuming the Willows is able to connect here, which I assume is the play. And now you have to keep in mind, Will-O-Wisp is a damage modifier as well as a status move. So Body Press would be doing half damage to something like Bisharp if he lands a Will-O-Wisp on this Como O, which means that it wouldn't be able to kill in one hit, which would basically mean that, let's say, the Bisharp comes in on the Clefable and gets off the Swords Dance and switch to the Como O. If that were to happen, then Como O would not be able to kill the Bisharp unless it would already take Moonblast damage or Fire Punch damage from a prior sequence. And looking at the Bisharp's health, it is at full. So if MNCMT Mincemeat is able to get the Bisharp in 1 or 2 times, then it's going to really be able to ease some prediction, especially because this Como O is more likely not going to be an offensive variant. I don't think it's leftovers. Um, Let me elaborate a bit on that. Given the time, wait, is this Scarf Como? It's Scarf Como. Yeah. Um, think about it. There's nothing faster than Gengar on a scene which reveals will be Life Orb. So normally, what I anticipate for non-lefties Como paired with something like Stealthrock Seismitoad, Stealthrock Clefable, or Stealthrock Hippowdon is Swords Dance, Life Orb, Close Combat, Earthquake, Ironhead, as that set destroys the metagame. Only things that stop it are like Rocky Helmet or physically defensive Corviknight and physically defensive Clefable, but they run specially defensive more often than not. So yeah, that such as ravages through the tier. The main issue is you lose a lot of longevity and checking prowess. But now that I look at it, it could very well be a Scarf Como, and I think that he scouted for that there, which is a really smart play. Now, interestingly enough, we're going to see the Jirachi come in on a Toxic, which is a good play. I'm curious to see if he goes for Discharge, if Discharge breaks the substitute, or Volt Switch, rather. I don't know what it is. It doesn't reveal that. But also, I think it's probably more likely to not Discharge. But and if not, if he subs on an Overheat, and then potentially bait a sequence in where he could bring in something like that Gengar. We're going to see the substitute here on a Volt Switch, and that's actually going to break the sub, regardless of it being weaker Volt Switch. And that's really good for the MNCMT side. I think he has a pretty convincing lead at this point. I'm not sure. I think that given that damage, this is also in Hex range as well. So he's able to fire off a Hex without much hesitation. And he's indeed going to go for that. And it's going to do 37% to the Como, which is a lot of damage. It's going to reveal that it's a fully offensive Como. I think that once again, Mincemeat is going to be scared of the prospect of a Scarf Como. So he's going to almost definitely want to switch out here. My guess would be to the Clefable, although technically letting the Rotom Heat go would be fine as well. Just not letting the Keldeo or the Bisharp get touched is big. Because after Rocks, it's actually in +2 sucker range. And seeing as this is now slower than the Bisharp, this is weak and only has 1 sub left, and Fire Punch doesn't kill. And this is a Clefable. Bisharp should be able to win. On top of that, Keldeo also has a good chance of winning with this being paralyzed, so it dies. It's 2 killed by Specs, and Calm Mind could potentially 1v1 it if it's not Calm Mind of its own, and you get in against something else. And this, it could have Zen Headbutt, but normally they run Power Punch with Substitute. Or it could also be his body slam for paralysis purposes. So yeah, seeing as it synergizes well with Gengar if it's Hex, although it's actually not Hex, I'm not sure what the Jirachi said is. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, either way, regardless of it being Zen Headbutt or not, it's also in range seeing as it's an offensive Jirachi. And it's going to come here now in the Rite of Heat, which is a fine play, but again, I think it's too little too late. He's going to reveal the Zen Headbutt, and he's going to get the flinch, but I don't think that's going to truly matter too much as the actually, that could. If Bishop goes like if he gets all the Bishop turns on, it could matter, I guess. I think Akola here is just calculating to see if he has to go for Zen Headbutt again, or if Fire Punch or Iron Head have a chance of killing. But we'll wait and see. Um, Regardless of that, though, at this point in time, I would say mncmt is strongly favored to win this game, and of course, it's only game one, not the whole series, though. So ultimately, he's going to go for the Zen Headbutt again, and he's going to connect. Hmm. So that's a pretty good couple turns there for a cola, but I can't help but feel this might be too little too late. Um, hmm. I think that MNCMT here is just thinking Keldra should be able to live one Zen headbutt from this range. So um, maybe he goes Keldra as it's kind of the least useful defensively and not the win condition like Bisharp. He could just go Bisharp and say fuck it, but it's seeing as now the Jirachi can substitute twice. I don't know if that's necessarily the play at this point in time. He could just go Bisharp and say, okay, I'm going to knock off and just spam knock off until it dies. That is fair because you're still, yeah, you're still able to. Hmm. He's going to go Keldeo, so it doesn't matter. Um, at this point, I think Keldeo just goes for a water move. It's risk free. Hmm. He's going to go Clefable here, and that's going to take 39% from a Scald. That could be Spec Scald versus. No, it's actually. Okay, so it's not specially defensive Clefable. It could be Spec for special defensive, or leftovers versus like physically defensive slash fast. And it was actually. It was actually not especially defensive Clefable. That actually is good against Bisharp, but the issue is that now Keldeo can Calm Mind up against it, and unless this is also Calm Mind, which it doesn't seem to be, and no drop there. So yeah, now it's trouble because Moonblast in all likelihood doesn't to a Kyo, and Scald is able to a Kyo, and also leaves us easily in range for something like, say, Bisharp's Iron Head, which might not kill now because it's physically defensive. Um, all right, well, we're still waiting to figure out what the sequence here is going to be. I think that Caldio is just going to go for the water move here. I don't think that setting up again would be the right play. Meanwhile, we also have some cool other games going on. Rise is playing Insult and Black White for some tournament teams, which is cool. But we're going to be focusing on this OST game, of course. Hmm. All right, we're going to see this called indeed. It's going to go, and the Moonblast is not going to kill. Yeah, it's going to fall short. He's going to get the drop, which is okay, I guess, but I don't know if this Clefable is really salvageable at this point. Yeah, it's just going to be fired off the Scald at this point. Both players with some time off their timers, so I wanted to click pretty quickly. Now, Koma O is going to come in for what seems to be a revenge killing is going to get to Skyfright. The issue with this is it's going to be locked into a move. It's going to be locked into Earthquake, which means that now the Clefable could come in handily, or the Bishop could even come in and just say, okay, fuck it. Um, he's going to go Bishop. Um, I personally wouldn't risk the crit here, but he's going to get away with it. Going for the knockoff. Wait, why knockoff? What? I'm not sure I agree with that knockoff there. Actually, yes, I do. I take it back. Now Gengar wins the game with Hex. I'm sorry. Um, Unless it's like some random baloney like Sucker Punch on the opposing Gengar, which it almost definitely is not going to be. Hex should just win the game. This is in range. After Rock, if this is not in range, then it will be. I mean, it is. But also, you could just Sucker here anyway. So yeah, mncmt is going to emerge victorious. Um, Akola's taking time, but yeah, it's over. He's going to go Gengar here on the Sucker Punch, okay. Hmm. I assume we just go for the knockoff. He just goes for the knockoff here. Um, no cursed body yet. Yeah, pretty much clinches it. I think you just go for suck. Hmm. Do you go knock here? I'm trying to think. What if Hex doesn't kill? Let me calculate real quick. Jirachi's offensive, so against Gengar. Yeah, Hex does enough. Hex is 62 min, so it should be fine. Um, Akola is also running out of time here. You just knock here if you're mncmt. Um, I guess one play for Akola to do here is you could go for the flinch to get leftovers. Um, but that does run the risk of Sucker Punch and also just not flinching the game ends. Hmm. Um, MNCMT is not taking his time. I think the play is always to just click knockoff. Um, and he goes for the Sucker Punch. Wow. All right, well, that's going to end it regardless of the fact. And it's going to be a win for the MNCMT side. Um, I guess that was fine. She would have had to lose a million 50-50s anyway. So, fair enough. Going to be 1-0 in favor of MNCMT. I'm going to pause till game 2 starts. But yeah, definitely an enjoyable game. Hey guys, what's up? I'm back here for another game of the Mincemeat versus Akola series. This time around, we're seeing some pretty different teams. Cool, bulky offensive team from Mincemeat. It has Dragapult, Clefable, Seismitoad, Aegislash, Como, and Mandibuzz. So it's really cool seeing more love for the non-Southwark branch of Como, looking like a more offensive breaker in this team. Although technically it could be Scarf as well, I think it's a lot less likely, however, with Dragapult being present on his side. I'm thinking it's going to be some sort of Hex plus Wisp variant of Dragapult, probably with just Draco U-turn. Teleport, Clefable, Stealth Rock Toad, Sword Dance, Life Orb, Como, Defog Mandibuzz. As for the Aegislash set, I think Special makes a little more sense here, but we'll have to wait and see. Really could go either way, depending on other sets. As for the Akola team, you got Conkeldurr, which is surely going to be just a Flame Orb before attack set. Clefable. Again, I'm thinking Wishport, although it could be Wish on the Jirachi and a Combine variant. We'll see it's knocks off here. It's going to knock off leftovers, and it's going to be a Moonblast. So yeah, it's looking like it's not Combine. Dragapult. Jirachi, which I don't think is Scarf with Dragapult, although it, in theory it could be. And also Mandibuzz for Fog and Seismitoad. So both teams have 4 of the same Pokemon. Mandibuzz, Seismitoad, Dragapult, and Clefable. It's going to be a speed tie here. What? So they're both 190. Um, yeah, they're both faster than Conkeldurr, I think, um, which would make some sense. Um, so we're going to see a lot of damage on this Seismitoad in return for rocks and a knockoff. It's going to be a knockoff Clefable from the Akola side as well. He's going to get a knock and a 2-wave off in that Clef as Clef goes for teleport, bringing in the Aegislash. Okay, so interesting there. This Clef is a really nice utility set. I kind of find it underrated in this metagame if you compare it with another thing like Wish Jirachi. In fact, I've used a couple teams like that myself, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, it's almost definitely going to be scared out here by the prospect of Iron Head or even a Specs Flash Cannon. So I'd have to imagine that on the back foot, he's probably going to go to something like Mandibuzz or Seismitoad. He goes to Seismitoad knowing that might be taking a just going to be able to resist that Iron Head. Given that Iron Head damage, it's going to be a Sword Dance variant. I'm thinking Scope Lens could be the set. It could potentially be a Berry, but yeah, I think that's Scope Lens because of that damage doing so little. Um, I think it's pretty likely that Akola wins this game, just given this position in the matchup, I feel. Conkeldurr also is pretty well if it gets turns right, and it should be able to comment consistently on the Mandibuzz, but it could be a Brave Bird Mandibuzz potentially. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, we're going to see a Draco there do 85% to that size of a Toad, as knockoff does 49% knockoff to specs. So it does have some special defense on this size of a Toad, but now after that monstrous Draco Meteor, seeing as it's not a wish available with Teleport, I don't know if the size of a Toad's ever going to heal back up again, and also U-turn to be able to take it out for momentum. The only good part about this matchup now for Akola is the fact that he also has a lot of chip on the opposing side of the Interestingly enough, we're going to see the Clefable and the Jirachi. I'm not sure if I can really make sense of that. I think U-turn was the play from mncmt, but maybe it was running specs for attacks without U-turn. In fact, a lot of them forego U-turn just to run a secondary Ghost Stab, such as Hex, and also in earlier versions of the metagame, we did see Thunderbolt, just for some mid-ground potentials like Hex plus Corviknight Course, for example. I jumped up to kill both of them, and Shadow Ball just falls short if it's specially defensive. Anyway, we're going to see an Iron Head there for only 18%, so it's looking like it's going to be Fat Jirachi. It also took Leftover, so it's definitely not Scarf, which is good to know for the mncmt side. I'd assume we're going to see a move such as Knockoff or Foul Play here. It would be interesting to see if he goes Clefable. I think Clefable is probably the play. I wonder if mncmt is going to try and call that and go for U-turn to get the Aegis Slash in. The issue is that Aegis Slash actually is going to do quite nicely now if the Mandibuzz is slower for some reason, but if Mandibuzz is quicker, then it's still going to be pretty useless, unfortunately. He's going to go Body Slam here, risking the Dark move, and it's going to eat a 54% foul play as a result of that. Interesting here. I'm not sure if that risk is really worthwhile, as having this in the back and healthy to check Clefable continuously is ideal. But as long as he gets a paralysis or a flinch here, he should be able to live a follow-up and wish up, and probably has Protect in the back as well. He's going to go for the Protect here, actually, not wanting to even risk that. But it's going to be as an Aegis Slash comes on in, and Aegis Slash is going to go for a Swords Dance now to Protect. And you had to know this was a Swords Dance variant, given the Iron Head damage. So it was just a really poor play there from Akola on that secondary Protect. You had to go Mandibuzz there no matter what. And now he's going to fire off the side of the Toad, which is fine, but it's going to go for another Swords Dance. I mean, it doesn't really matter at all, because Mandibuzz is going to threaten it out almost definitely. I mean, I assume that. Yeah, he's gonna go Mandibuzz. I don't think there's any way mncmt stays in here unless it's got King Shield. If it's King Shield, then if it's King Shield on the knockoff, then you could say this foul play should kill it either way. So yeah, a lot of people are arguing that second Swords Dance is bad because what if he goes hard Mandibuzz, and I happen to agree with that, but it ended up working out anyway. It's just a minor detail. But yeah, mncmt is now at 5-4. He's played some nice games up to this point. So I'm actually kind of really impressed by his level of play and the teams he's used this far. I think he's a really underrated player, and the more and more I see, the more positive feedback I have towards him. So this is definitely a good position from him here, but I think he's going to want to go conservative and switch out, even if he's plus speed. This is a lot of Mandibuzz are running a lot of speed here for Chandelure and Bisharp, but he's going to stand and go for the Iron Head, which, yeah, it was a poor play. I guess mncmt's logic could be that it's going to be slower because you have Mach Punch for Bisharp. But yeah, it is plus speed Aegis Slash, and for whatever reason, he did not scout for the Mandibuzz, which was kind of reckless, but I think he was favored to win from that position anyway. So he would have been able to scout damage from other things in Mandibuzz and then determine that it didn't have enough speed EVs in a long haul and just set the same sequence up. Plus the fact that he already had a Mon advantage, so it was going to be probably win regardless. He just sped it up and took what I believe was an unnecessary risk, but worked out for him there. So mncmt is going to win this game 6-0 and advance to the finals of the official SmackDown tournament. Congratulations to him. Really well played overall, even though I don't agree with that Iron Head there. It's fine. Unfortunately for Akola, he's going to fall short, losing in the semifinals. However, this is a really good run for Akola, and I hope to see him a lot of other tournaments like World Cup and SDL in the future. I think he's a capable player, and he also has some really cool teams. So yeah. But with that said, this is going to be pretty quick 2-0 victory for MNCMT. Good games, and we're going to bring you guys not only the finals next week between MNCMT and the winner of Insult for Flaming Victini, but also hopefully the Flaming Victini series. It might be a post narration because it's going to be at 5 p.m. tomorrow, which overlaps with my dinner time, but that's all right. We'll get it to you either sometime on Sunday or Monday. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Good game. Peace.